Hello, storytellers. The storytelling Ron. I want to talk about climate change because climate change is a lie. It's a lie like evolution is a lie. And I'm going to show you why it's a lie. I remember global cooling and global warming, which is where climate change comes from. And by the way, climate change is just weather. But I remember it coming in the 80s when I was a kid and they're talking about, oh, the greenhouse climate change. What is the source of climate change or the theory? The greenhouse effect. They're claiming that if we have too much CO2 or whatever pollutions in the air, it'll form a cover around the entire Earth that will then heat up and we'll all die and explode in a whatever. You know, the Bible, God does say He's going to burn up the Earth at some point in the far future. But this whole climate change thing is ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and they're using it to. It's just another form of tyranny. They're trying to control us. They're worried that all this CO2 or using fossil fuels. What a bunch of crock. And they're all, you know, the stop oil is they all wear oil products. They're all wearing glasses, phones. They get in front of trucks and stop stuff like in England and here, and their backpacks and all that. It's all made of petroleum products. Their clothes, their makeup, their coolness, their tattoos. It's all got oil derivatives in it, and they're just doing that crap. So let me just show you real quick the absurdity. In the Bible, it warns how they profess to be wise, and they will make myth upon myth just to create their own little stories. I'm just going to come out and say it because we Christians need to start coming out and saying, I am way wiser than any of these people. Why? Because I have the fear of God in me. I fear the Lord, and so I am have more wisdom than these idiots and these scientists, these experts. I don't care. I don't want to listen to them. They're idiots. They believe in killing babies. They believe in mutilating your children, sexualizing them. They're idiots. They don't deserve anything from us, not even respect. I love them because Jesus told me to love them. Personally, I hate them. Me personally, but I cannot roll that out because God won't let me. Jesus said love them. So I don't know, but I'm being very dark and annoyed here. But I do love them because Jesus told me to love them. So anyway, really, I'm just a messenger. I'm just here to warn. So here's the greenhouse effect on Wikipedia. It is hilarious. Look at these graphs, all just showing us all these wonderful little graphs, trying to push their point on us. This was proposed in the 1800s, same time as evolution, and all these nice little wonderful graphs and telling you how, this is going to do this and that's going to do that. It is ridiculous, and I'll sum it up here in a minute. But let's just go down to the bottom because they got more graphs. Oh, it's going to get hotter. It's going to get hotter. Well, it's getting cooler. Oh no, it's going to get hotter. It's getting cooler. It's getting cooler. It's getting hotter. Oh no, it's changing. So that's climate change. So everything to them is climate change. It doesn't matter what it is: flooding, hurricanes, really cold winters, North Pole melting, South Pole getting bigger, ice-wise. It's ridiculous. So in 1000 AD, I read, I like medieval history. In the English were in southern England, the monks were making wine or growing grapes because the climate was really warm back then. Greenland, the Vikings, when they landed in Greenland, which today is, you know what? I'm going to pause this. I'm going to get a map of Greenland real quick on Google Maps. Hold on. So is it recording? So just real quick, is Greenland. When the Vikings came and landed, they obviously landed in this area over here, but they call it Greenland because it was wonderful. But they only lasted a few centuries, and then they had to leave because it was too freaking cold. 14th century. The Ice Age started 14th century-ish. There was like a colder period. So there was a hotter period and there was a colder period. Was that because of climate change? Because we were industrializing the world? I don't think so. That's what the earth does. And so these people are just screaming out of their freaking pagan minds to control our freedom is in energy, the energy that we have in gas and fossil fuels. That has given us the freedom to live our lives. I mean, can you even believe we don't even have incandescent light bulbs anymore? We don't even have regular light bulbs anymore. They're now trying to cut down our air conditioning usage. It's so and gas stoves. It's so ridiculous the way they just their pettiness in controlling us. And this whole thing is pettiness. All of this is a bunch of hogwash. They're just creating graphs. They're just trying to scare you. They're just trying. Aerosols are causing. And here, let's just go to the bottom. All these formulas of this is just BS. And treat them that way. They deserve it. Here. So the runaway greenhouse effect is what they're freaking out over. And if you just, it's just hilarious. They use Venus as like, oh my God, Venus. Venus is like, oh, they always look for ways to counter arguments that we make. Like, well, Venus is closer to the sun. It's going to get hotter. Like, no. It's covered in gas. So the CO2. That's what's really causing the heat trap. They don't know that. They don't know that. They think that. They don't know that. They're just coming up. It's got 96% carbon dioxide. Well, so what? It just doesn't have anything else. And I know I'm going all over the place. I'm just ticked off. We cannot therefore completely rule out the possibility that human actions might cause, if not run away. This is like. The authors caution that our understanding of the dynamics, thermodynamics, radiator transfer, and cloud physics of hot and steamy atmosphere is weak. But we can't rule out human interaction. A volcano will do more CO2 in this on Earth than we have in 100 years. A volcano will. And we've only been doing stuff like this the last 100 years. I'm against pollution. I'm against polluting an area, but I'm not. This climate change is a lie. It's a desire to control. It's in their hearts to control us. And they're looking for any way to control us. Think about the Earth, though. Think about when an area gets warmer, just for whatever reason, for gases covering it, the heat dissipates not just out into space. They say no, it's trapped by that gas. I'm sorry, but that gas is not everywhere. It is not everywhere on the Earth. We have a dark side. We have wind circulation. We've got. The whatever it's called, the streams, air streams going everywhere. There's a constant circulation and recycling on this Earth. There's a constant rebalancing, and it's amazing. And for them to do these half truths, a half truth where they say, "Oh, the fire is hot, so we can't use fire." Well, fire is hot, we can't use fire. Actually, fire is hot, so let's be careful and keep our distance and use it accordingly. No, it's hot. Can't use it anymore. No one can use fire anymore. It's too hot. It heats things up. That's kind of this what they're doing. They're just creating a chart, and I'm going to jump to this just to show you. This is called the Oort cloud. The Oort cloud was created in 1950 by a Dutch astronomer because this is for evolution because comets are going around the solar system and they're very young. How were they created? Creation scientists believe they were created during the global flood, and boom, things happen, and the ice age happened right during the global flood, and big chunks of ice and stuff were shot out into space. That's what we believe, because comets only last maybe 100,000 years or less. The way they're melting, and they tend to be, they're in our solar system, but they can't figure out where they came from, and they need a long, deep time, right? They need millions and millions of years. So they created this Oort cloud. That this guy said there must be some sort of ice. A bunch of ice stuff outside where we can't see it, out past the solar system where we cannot see it. And so he theorizes that there must be this out here, and that's what creates the comets that we see in our solar system that are so young. So look at all these charts and graphs and explanations they have of a theory that they cannot even prove. This whole article is about something that doesn't exist. And they've come up with these graphs. I mean, it's smaller than the stupid greenhouse one, but same thing. They're just making this stuff up. They're putting in their numbers. They're putting in their little equations, and it's warming, it's cooling, it's warming. It's a bunch of crap. That's what it is. It's a bunch of crap. In farms, what farmers know that is if you put carbon dioxide in a greenhouse, the plants will flourish. They will flourish. They pump their greenhouses full of CO2. And the plants will just absorb that. See, there's nothing of that in this greenhouse effect thing. That when there's more CO2 in the atmosphere, the plants grow better. Crops grow better. Jungles grow better. When there's more CO2 in the atmosphere. That's what plants feed on or absorb and CO2. And there's nothing about that in here. I kind of looked, I don't know, I just skimmed it all. It's just so annoying. But in greenhouse, farmers know that if you pump their CO2 into their plants are gonna grow. So feel free to breathe on your plants. And let me show you something else. Here's a freeways. Oh, not that one. It's this one. Freeway. So these are freeway pictures, right? Look at this. Why am I showing freeways? How come there's all this greenery? And this is in LA, so it's a bit of a drier climate. But how come there's all these plants around the freeways? What is up with that? Why aren't these plants dying from all the carbon monoxide? I mean, this is a constant, everyday flow of cars driving across these plants and trees and stuff. And where else is I keep seeing the same freeway because I think no, that's not. I'm getting whacked here. 110 freeway. Okay, so right here, why aren't all these trees dead? You know, look at this. These trees are flourishing next to the freeways. I mean, as long as they get the water too, they're flourishing. They're growing. They're absorbing the CO2. They're not dying. Why aren't they dying? Right here, constant flow of exhaust from these cars. That's another thing that annoys me the heck about this is that they're just BS. There's no climate change. I mean, the reason they're saying climate change is because just like evolution, things evolve slowly over time. Wait, okay, so some things evolve really quickly. Oh, some things don't evolve at all because we're finding the same fossils of mammals and insects next to dinosaurs, but we don't want to show you that in the museums, even though this guy has documented proof of it. Let me get a second book. This guy has documented proof of the same fossils that they found with dinosaurs are in museums because they didn't know that he was a creation science guy. They just thought he was a regular anthropologist, and he went around and saw that the dig site drawers where the dig sites were all had regular animals in it along with dinosaurs, and they didn't want to put those out with the dinosaurs because they didn't want you and me to be confused by the narrative. Evolution, this is what pagans do. They don't actually use real science. They use BS. Things evolve slowly, things evolve quickly, things don't evolve at all. That is not science. You cannot have everything confirms your theory. You have to have a theory that is demonstrably could be falsified or falsely tested or whatever. That there can be a negative. And if there is a negative, then your theory is no good. And they're just saying, oh no, everything is. That same with global cooling, global warming, climate change. Everything is climate change. Everything is climate change to them now. So you can't, there's no test then. There's no test. They just say everything. And that is tyranny. They love tyranny. Pagans love tyranny. They don't love truth. They love deception and they love tyranny. Don't ever accept climate change. It's a lie. It's a lie. I mean, the weather, sure. Pollution, sure. I don't want pollution. The weather's the weather. It was way hotter back in the day. It was way colder back in the day. That is not global cooling, global warming. That is just the Earth having a cyclical weather patterns. And it has local weather patterns and it has global and larger, hundreds of year changes. And recently the RFK is getting all famous in the news and he said, I know there's climate change because I'm trying to do his voice. Because there's because and I'm not making fun of him, I'm just trying to do his voice. Because I've seen, in my own neighborhood things getting warmer. Well, yeah, things do get warmer over 50 years. You're talking about like 50, 40 years maybe? 50 years. I mean, I know you're 70, but really 50 years is nothing compared to 5,000, 6,000 years that we've been on this earth. And the global flood definitely changed our atmosphere and the parameters. Like it's almost like a reset. So today we're going to see more of this or this or this compared to 2500 BC when the global flood happened and it changed everything. So there's no climate change. And we need to fight that. We need to fight that and we need to rebuke them. It's not happening. It's just a bunch of hogwash. And I'm tired of even people I kind of respect in there. I know there's climate change. And so we need to do something about it, but I think it's being draconian. Well, it's not. It is draconian, and you're still wrong with your foundational. There's no climate change. And the word is absurd because I don't even know how to fight against climate change because climate change just means weather. There is weather. There is weather, but there's no. We're filling the atmosphere with CO2. If we fill the atmosphere with CO2, our plants are going to get greener. They're going to just explode. They're going to absorb that. And I don't know, maybe pagans don't want that. Maybe pagans just want death. I don't know, because CO2, if we increase the CO2, our crops and our plants just in the localized areas is going to get more CO2 to absorb. So ridiculous. So freaking ridiculous. Anyway, all right. And remember, in the game of life, roll holy dice for crying out loud.